Johanna Lopez was a United States citizen because she was born in the United States shortly after her immigrant parents crossed the Rio Grande. It cost her father all the money he had so that he and his wife could enter the country illegally. Johanna's father was determined to give his family a better life. He didn't believe it would have been possible if he had stayed in the corrupt, cartel-run part of Mexico where he came from. He took on any job in the United States, usually unofficially. Eventually, he bought fake documents that allowed him to work regular jobs. He was a reliable and hardworking person. Johanna's father learned that corruption does not only exist on one side of the border. He was cheated on his wages at many jobs and never received any additional overtime pay. He never complained to anyone except his family for fear of being turned over to ICE by immigration and customs enforcement. Deportation would destroy his dream of a better life for his family. He focused on one goal, giving his children a better life, no matter what he personally had to go through. Johanna only began to understand her father when she was a teenager. It pained her to see him work so hard and get so little. She tried to talk to him about his rights and convinced him that he should not put up with such treatment. His response showed an anger that Johanna had never seen before. He told her he couldn't risk the life he created for her and her siblings. All the deceptions, insults, thefts, and disrespect he faced were a price he was willing to pay. Although her father was never violent at home, he drank heavily. Alcohol helped him tolerate the loss of masculine honor that his macho culture demanded. Johanna met other immigrant children whose fathers sacrificed themselves for their families, just like her father. Many of them were angry and wished their fathers had stood up to their bosses and other government officials. There were also those whose fathers protested. Some of them lost their jobs. Some were extradited and either deported or threatened with deportation. It was not uncommon for friends to disappear overnight. Johanna hoped that the reason they disappeared was simply because their families were forced to move and start over. Johanna thought that as an American citizen, she would not face the danger and humiliation that her father had to endure. As soon as she was old enough, she began working part-time to help support her family. She was a waitress in a Mexican restaurant. This job taught her a lot: responsibility, reliability, hard work, and the fact that there are many good people in the world, but also many not very nice ones. Another thing she realized while working with people was that many men found her attractive. They complimented her on her appearance, some of them being very specific about the parts of her body they liked most often her breasts, but also her butt. These men seemed to automatically assume that the waitress would put her body at their disposal, whether for fun, money, or the not-so-plausible promise of a permanent relationship. She learned the art of flirting to increase tips, but she never accepted offers of money that were made to her. Due to her schedule and waitressing schedule, Johanna could only meet guys occasionally. She mostly dated Latin Americans, but there were also Anglo-Saxons. Ethnicity didn't seem to matter in what the boys expected. All the guys wanted to move to the next stage of the relationship as quickly as possible. She didn't go beyond the second stage with any of them, so she didn't have a permanent boyfriend. Osh entered a technical school to study secretarial skills. Her main subjects were word processing, spreadsheets, and data processing. Johanna continued to work as a waitress and date boys whenever she could. During her second and final year of technical school, one of the other waitresses introduced Johanna to her brother Miguel, an auto mechanic. There was an immediate connection between them. Due to the lack of time for dating, Johanna decided to make the most of each meeting. They had sex on the third date, decided to be faithful to each other on the seventh date, and were engaged on the 20th date. Their entire meeting before the wedding took a little over a year. Their plans to rent an apartment to start their family life depended on how quickly Johanna could find a full-time job. Miguel worked at an auto body shop, but was still an apprentice mechanic, earning just over minimum wage. Johanna received help from the technical school's employment department and submitted several applications. Within 6 weeks, she was hired by Gordon Reimer at Astro Industries, a supplier of specialized packaging for fragile items. The interview with him went very smoothly. She was glad to have found a job and was looking forward to starting her own household with Miguel. Mr. Reimer told her that she was expected to appear professional, but that she did not have to hide the physical features she found attractive. I don't want to sound sexist, but the truth is that men who visit our office premises are more likely to make a deal with us if they remember that we have beautiful, smiling, and friendly women working in our office. It may not be politically correct, but I'm not going to lose business because my girls don't look attractive. He laughed after he said that. Johanna and Miguel went to look for an apartment. Their joy at finding a good place was short-lived when they found out the amounts for the deposit and first month's rent, which had to be paid in advance, plus deposits for electricity, water, garbage collection, and gas. Then I had to budget for 2 car payments, 2 car insurance, rent, and renter's insurance. Johanna's health insurance was covered by her benefit plan, but she had to pay extra to include Miguel. Reality bit them hard. They needed an initial increase in income to start an independent life. When neither family was able to help in any meaningful way, Miguel suggested that both of them approach their bosses for a raise to help them move into an apartment. Once the initial deposits were paid, they believed they would be able to pay monthly expenses. Johanna asked to see Mr. Reimer. She was terrified that she would have to ask for help so soon after she was hired. Johanna, right? I hope you don't have problems with work. Do you need additional professional training? No, Mr. Reimer. Everything is fine with work. This is a personal issue that affects my work. The problem is that my husband and I can't afford to pay all the deposits we need to move into the apartment. We turned to our families and they gave us everything they could. We haven't yet borrowed enough to have the credit score to qualify for a loan. These payday lending places will give us money, but their fees are terrible. Mr. Reimer, I know this is a personal problem for my husband and you certainly don't have to help us, but you said at orientation that you can be contacted with any problem. I'm asking for help because the distance from where we live now to work takes so much time that I'm afraid that I might sometimes be late for work if there are traffic problems. The good news is that we found an apartment nearby. We can afford the rent, but we can't afford the deposits. I hate to ask you this, especially since I just started working here, but I don't know what else to do. She almost cried. Johanna, please don't cry. I think you'll find that working here provides you with an employer who truly cares about their employees. Your situation reminds me of what it was like for Alice and me when we first started. In those days, rice and beans with the occasional banquet pies 4 for $1 were our staple food. It was very hard to live like this, but it gave us a real understanding of the value of money. Our salvation was the car I had been restoring since I was a teenager, a red and white 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. I loved that car almost as much as I loved my new wife. However, since I loved my wife more, I sold the car. My wife tells everyone that when I did this, she realized that I really loved her. A few years ago, I was able to buy the car back, although I had to pay much more than I got for it when I sold it. By sacrificing them, I was able to afford this luxury now. I assume that you have nothing that could be sold to get the required amount. If so, here's what I'll do for you. I will personally lend you the amount needed to cover your deposits. Once you and your husband are settled into your apartment and are accustomed to monthly payments, you can tell me how much you can pay me each month for this loan. I will not charge you interest. He wrote out a check for $2,500 and handed it to her. Johanna burst into tears. Thank you, Mr. Reimer, but this is more than we need. Take it. I also remember that when furnishing our first home, there were a lot of small expenses that we didn't think about in advance. You will see this for yourself. This is more than generous. I didn't even hope for this. Oh, Mr. Reimer, would it be against the rules if I hug you? Well, I guess I can accept that instead of you paying interest. They hugged and held each other for a couple of minutes while she cried on his shoulder. She was very grateful. Johanna returned to her desk and immediately called Miguel. She found it difficult to remain calm when she told him about her good fortune. They celebrated at home with wet champagne, a mixture of apple juice and ginger ale. Over the next few weeks, Johanna and Miguel signed a 1-year lease for an apartment that was located between their workplaces, but closer to Johanna. After another couple of weeks, they completed the initial arrangement of the apartment with the most necessary pieces of furniture, especially the bed. The landlord provided the basic appliances, and Johanna's parents gave them an old sofa. They were immensely happy. At the end of her first month on the job, Johanna was called into Mr. Riemer's office. She wasn't sure why. She assumed he wanted to know how much she and Miguel would pay per month to repay the loan. "So, Johanna, how was your first month working here?" She sighed with relief. "I really like it here, Mr. Reimer. The people are so kind, and there is enough work to keep me busy." Suddenly, she got scared. "Does my job suit you? Nobody told me that anything was wrong. If there is more to be done, I will happily do it. I really need this job." I Calm down. According to the other secretaries, your job was excellent. I called you because there is one aspect of your work that needs improvement. What aspect is this? Your wardrobe. He's too conservative. We need secretaries who dress professionally but attractively. I don't quite understand what you mean. I wear the best I have. Let me ask you, which secretary do you think looks the best and dresses the best? It's hard to say. There are so many attractive women here. Sometimes I feel like an ugly duckling compared to them. It's a good comparison. Let me ask the question differently. Which secretary most often attracts the attention of men who come here? She didn't hesitate. Sheila. And why do you think this is so? She's very beautiful, and I think men find her sexy. Exactly. I think with the right wardrobe and makeup, you could look just as good, maybe even better, than Sheila. I'm not sure about this. If I dressed like that, my husband probably wouldn't approve, especially if I was getting the same type of attention as her from the men who come here. Gordon became serious. Have you ever heard of Sheila doing anything inappropriate with our clients? Oh no. To my knowledge, there has never been the slightest hint of inappropriate behavior on her part. However, I have heard several men express a desire to ask her out, despite the fact that she is married. What's wrong with that? She can't date other men. She's married. The fact that men ask her out on a date and the fact that she agrees to it are two different things. Sheila is a woman whose husband knows and approves of the way she looks. He knows this is expected at her job. And most importantly, he trusts her and is not afraid that another man might seduce her. Don't you think your husband will trust you if any man compliments you? Don't know. He is usually jealous. However, it doesn't matter now. I can't afford a new wardrobe even if I wanted to. Maybe in a year or two, I'll be able to save enough. That's why I called you. I will give you a credit card with a $1,000 limit. You should go and start putting together a new wardrobe for your office work. This is not a loan. This is an investment in business. Your improved appearance will improve our business just as much as Sheila's appearance did. But I don't know where to start, Mr. Reimer. I only worked as a waitress before. My best things are my church clothes. Wait a minute. He dialed the internal number. Sheila, this is Gordon. Do you want to go shopping? Not for yourself, for Johanna. Okay, you can buy something for yourself too. Will it happen now? Great. Stunned, Johanna muttered, I have a lot of work to do. I can't go shopping right now. Gordon put on a stern look. Who do you think you are, young lady? I'm the boss here, and if the boss says to go shopping, then you better go shopping. He was already smiling. Yes, sir, as you say, sir. Okay, I expect you to come back at the end of the day dressed to make my socks fall off. Now get out of here. Johanna returned to her desk just as Sheila approached her. Well, friend, are you ready to go? They left. Sheila, is it normal for Mr. Reimer to buy clothes for the women who work here? I've never heard of a boss doing something like that. You will understand that not only is it normal, but this is just the beginning of the privileges that will be offered to you. This place of work is not like others. Don't be closed. My advice is to go with the flow. Personally, I wouldn't want to work anywhere else. Sheila took charge of shopping and choosing clothes that she thought looked good on Johanna. After that, Sheila took control of the stores to go to and what clothes she thought would suit Johanna. After Johanna put on one outfit after another that seemed too sexy, her conservative sense of fashion eventually became dulled. She began to succumb to Sheila's opinion. Johanna had to admit that she looked very good in this outfit, maybe even too good. Sheila then took her to her favorite beauty department and gave Johanna a free makeover. Everyone who saw her after, including Johanna herself, said, "Wow." Sheila chose the skimpiest outfit for Johanna to model for Mr. Gordon. He was impressed, very pleasantly impressed. Sheila said, "I thought you would like what we chose." "I doubt I could be more pleased. Thanks for your help, Sheila." "My pleasure, boss, and thanks for the new outfit." After Sheila left his office, Johanna asked "Are you sure the company is willing to pay these expenses?" "Let's just say that this is an expense that I would happily incur in order to improve the productivity of my office, and therefore my position in the company. It's a win-win." "I can't thank you enough, Mr. Raymer." "Yes, you can." "What?" "How about the same thank you I received for not charging interest on your loan?" He got up from the table and walked over to her. They hugged. This time it lasted longer. She became confused and began to wonder about Mr. Raymer's intentions. Johanna was glad when they separated. Johanna was scared when she showed Miguel her new outfits, fearing his disapproval. She was right to be afraid. "No way. These clothes reveal too much of your body. I saw street women of good viability wearing more clothes." Johanna took a defensive position. "Do you know what street women of easy virtue wear? Do you still look at them now that you have a wife?" "Hey, I'm just like any man. If a woman wants to show me her wares, I'll take a look. It's human nature." They headed to the bedroom. The next morning, Johanna stated that the clothes should be the same as the uniform Miguel had to wear to work. As a concession, she agreed not to wear her new outfits in public without him by her side. She said she would wait until she got to the office to put them on and change again before returning home. It was a compromise they could both live with. Her new wardrobe and makeup soon impressed the clients coming into Mr. Raymer's office. Soon, her desk was surrounded by what Sheila called puppies, eager to be noticed. Johanna learned to flirt without giving in to men's proposals. Her practice as a waitress paid off. She was very happy. At the end of the 90-day initial assessment period, Johanna was called into Mr. Gordon's office. According to agency policy, a new employee may be terminated without cause during this time with no recourse. Johanna felt a little trepidation as she entered her office. Since it was a personnel matter, his usually open door was closed while they were meeting. "Sit down, Johanna. I will try to make this as painless as possible." He didn't seem as pleasant as he had during her previous visits. "As you know, this is an assessment of your probation. There are 3 possibilities that may arise from this meeting. One, hopefully you and I can both agree to continue your employment with a salary increase of 5% over what you are earning now. 2, you can tell me that you have decided that this is not the job you were thinking about and submit your resignation. 3, finally, I may decide that you are not suitable for this job after all and send you home with a statement. 2 weeks severance pay. Do you understand the possibilities?" Johanna was very scared. "Yes, sir." "Now give me your opinion on how well you have performed your duties here over the past 3 months." She took a deep breath. "I think I learned the job pretty quickly without making too many mistakes. The other girls have helped me a lot by showing me easier and better ways of doing things and just getting used to the routine here. They told me to go with the flow, and I think so. It took me a while to create my own personal system that I needed to organize, but I feel like I have it now. Personally, you, sir, have been extremely generous to me and my husband. I don't think... No, I know that we would not have had a smooth start to our marriage without your kind help. Do you think I was right about the improved wardrobe?" "Yes. At first I wasn't sure. I'm not used to wearing such revealing clothes, but after getting used to wearing clothes and comments from male clients, I realized that I owe you again I've never received so many compliments before. And you believe in the possibility of repaying your debts. Johanna was worried that she was too late to tell Mr. Riemer how much she intended to repay on the loan. Yes, I was going to talk to you about the loan. You see, don't say anything right now. Gordon stood up from the table and walked over to the table opposite where Johanna was sitting. He leaned against the edge of the table and continued, I believe that you and Miguel are currently finding it difficult to afford any significant monthly loan payments. I have a way to pay me back without spending a dime. In fact, I hope it's enjoyable. This will also ensure your future life. Employment here with regular salary increases. I don't understand. You used to say that you were indebted to me and were ready to do anything for me. Did you really mean it? Well, yes, to some extent. Let's see. Johanna, give me your right hand. I'm sorry. Give me your right hand or go clear your desk. Yes, sir. Johanna didn't have much time to make an important decision in her life. She knew that she and Miguel could not do without her work. If they violated the lease, they faced a significant fine. That, plus a 5% raise and forgiveness of a $2,500 debt, were such a huge temptation that she didn't dare resist. Maybe he won't go any further. A place immediately appeared in her head where she mentally moved to separate what she was about to do from her life with Miguel. She found herself in another world. Without saying a word, she knew what to do next. She returned to the office. Her demeanor was businesslike but friendly. How often will I have to do this to pay off the debt? I don't know yet. Once I figure out what it is, I can put a monetary value on it and give you an idea of how long it will take to pay back the debt. Do you want to have sex now? No, I think that's enough for today. I have a meeting in half an hour. What about the rest of my evaluation at the end of my probation? Go home and tell your husband that you are now permanent and get a 5% raise. Johanna spent a lot of time in the ladies' room at work, checking for any traces of cum on her clothes or body before returning home. She was surprised at how calm she felt. When she looked in the mirror, she saw the same expression that she saw on her father's face when he had to do something against his principles for the good of the family. She believed she had just done the same thing. Everything will be fine until Miguel finds out. She didn't want anything to interfere with her marriage. Losing a job would definitely get in the way. It might not hurt to become Mr. Reimer's office wife, if she was careful, very careful. That evening, she and Miguel celebrated her promotion and permanent employment over dinner. He was happy for her and proud of her. Johanna told Miguel to leave the dirty dishes in the sink. She took him to the bedroom. Standing naked, he asked, "What does this all mean, Johanna?" She replied, "I was afraid that you might have forgotten how much I love you. Although the promotion shows that I am valued at work, you must understand that your approval is more important to me than any job or what I have to do to keep it. Tonight I will make love to you, my dear husband." Miguel didn't understand the meaning of the words or what I have to do to keep my job. 2 weeks later, Johanna received a call from Mr. Riemer asking her to come into his office. This was the call she had been waiting for. She didn't even ask what she needed to do. She closed and locked the door behind her. Her rationalization of what would probably become an office routine put her in a state where she was willing to accept and perhaps even enjoy his sexual advances. Johanna was determined to ensure that her time with Gordon was separate from her home life. Johanna's ability to separate her office and home life allowed her to maintain the status quo in both places. Several years passed and both office and home relationships seemed to improve. Her promotions, bonuses, and other benefits were quite frequent. The question of repaying the loan was no longer raised. She spent some of the extra money on even sexier work outfits, but most of her extra income went towards saving up for a down payment on a house. Shortly after moving into the house, she and Miguel, who had become a certified mechanic, which meant a sizable promotion for him, planned to start a family. She knew she had to consult with one more person before making this decision. "Gordon, Miguel, and I want to start a family soon. This means a change in our relationship. I guess we can stop until you're pregnant, but we can start again until it's time to give birth. As much as I love having sex with you, Gordon, I feel like we need to stop as soon as I get off the pills. I want this baby and I to belong only to Miguel from day one. I don't see any possibility of returning to you as a lover after this. It costs my soul too much to maintain two worlds in which I must be devoted to different men. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can agree with this. Johanna, you have no idea how often I have been tormented by the fact that you continue to have sex with your husband. Every time I have sex with Alice, I imagine it's you. She is very pleased with the improvement in our sex life. I don't see any reason why we can't continue. Gordon, I have been blessed with several years of a devoted husband and a capable lover. I was lucky that my two worlds didn't collide. I paid a huge emotional price for keeping them apart. Now I only want one world. I only need one world, and this world should become my family with Miguel and our child. Please don't make this difficult. Are you threatening to fire me? I was only hoping for maternity leave when the time was right, and that I could come back when I was ready. Are you saying that you will have problems working with me if we are no longer lovers? Yes, you too. I'm sure it won't be long before you change your mind. What we had was too profitable for both of us. You are already accustomed to the privileges that I provided. I know it won't be easy. Like I said, you were a fantastic lover, but I'm sure you'll find another secretary to become your office wife. You think you're that easy to replace? I thought we had something very special. It's hard for me to imagine this ending. What about you? Yes, Gordon. That's why I thought we could do a 3-day, 2-night seminar that we both need to attend to consummate our relationship before I stop taking the pills. We never had the opportunity to spend a whole day together, let alone one night. It sounds attractive. Although I don't like the idea of breaking up, I think I can live with it. You can start organizing. Here, take my personal credit card. Thank you, Gordon, for everything. When Johanna booked 3 days and 2 nights at a resort hotel in a neighboring state, she began to concoct a story about a conference to which Mr. Riemer would need a secretary to accompany him. Once all the preparations were completed, it was time to tell Miguel. Miguel, it looks like I'll have to go to the seminar with Mr. Riemer. He is a keynote speaker and needs my help preparing his presentations. This is very important for his career, and I feel honored to have been chosen to accompany him. 3 days, just you and Reimer? Is no one else coming from the office? I smell something wrong. You've never been away overnight for work. Is there something between you? Miguel, we have been married for 3 years. I trusted you every day, and you trusted me every day. Didn't you feel like you were the only man in my life when I was next to you? Yes, but... She carefully chose her words for her next statement. There is no reason to be suspicious. Miguel, I promise you that I will be as faithful to you on this trip as I have been throughout our marriage. No one can replace you in my heart. Don't forget what Mr. Reimer did for us. It is important for me to support him as secretary and because he has been so good to us. You have to believe that nothing and no one is more important than coming home to you and starting to plan for children. While I'm gone, you can think about possible names for the baby. She smiled and kissed Miguel. They went to the bedroom and made love. On the day of departure, she left Miguel the name and telephone number of the hotel, as well as the number of the room in which they would stay. You can call the hotel and then my room any time after dinner, or I will call you if you prefer. We can discuss possible names. Miguel, we are about to begin a new, important phase in our lives, probably the most significant we will have as spouses. Please let's start it with joy and happiness, not with doubts and jealousy. Fine, I'll miss you. Me too, and I'll prove it when I get back. She kissed him goodbye. Oh, Gordon, it was probably the best sex of my life. I'm so glad we did it. Are you satisfied enough to change your mind about not being lovers anymore? I will definitely miss it, but I won't change my mind. Can't we just enjoy our last few hours together? I have something that might make you change your mind. He got out of bed and went to his suitcase. He pulled out a couple of DVDs. These are recordings of some of our meetings. Do you think Miguel would like to see them? Johanna seethed with anger. Gordon, how could you? You just ruined every good memory I had of our relationship. You made it clear that, to you, I was nothing more than an ordinary woman of easy virtue. Whatever it is, the question is, are we going to continue your office visits, or am I going to ruin your marriage? Before Johanna could say anything, a loud voice came from somewhere unknown. I think we also have a say in this matter. A stunned Gordon looked around the room and shouted, "Who the hell are you and where are you?" "Oh, we're not here, but we're watching you through the cameras we installed. From what I can see, you could do with losing a few pounds, Gord." "Damn, there are cameras here. Who is this we who is watching?" "My name is Miguel, Johanna's husband, and I am here with Alice, your wife." Alice spoke up. "Hi, Gordon, Johanna. Darling, I would like to say that I am glad to see you, but that would be a lie. However, I understand why Gordon chose you to seduce. You have a wonderful body, darling." Johanna pulled the sheets up to cover her nakedness. She screamed, "Miguel, we need to talk about this. Don't do anything you'll regret. We can work things out." "Of course we have to talk. I'm waiting for you, but I've already started to defend myself. Do not try to use our credit cards to pay for anything. They are blocked. Your personal belongings were moved to the room that was supposed to be a nursery. I think that we won't need it now, at least not for the purpose that we planned." "Please don't say that, Miguel. I love you and want to start a family with you. I did it for us. I can see by your actions how much you love me. Just like you, the first thing I wanted to do when we decided to have a baby was go and have sex with my boss. He didn't really like it when I told him about it. Judging by how infatuated you two are with each other, you must be trying to conceive twins." Gordon growled, "How did you know?" Alice replied, "You can thank me for that, dear. This may be the only time in our marriage that you are grateful to me for something. I received a call from the credit card company regarding some suspicious transactions on your card. Somehow I doubted that you wanted to buy me a little black dress, and it was too small for you. It didn't take me long to find out which of the women in the office you took as your mistress, and then find her husband. It was hard for him to believe that his wife was cheating on him, but I showed him evidence of your meetings. He didn't want to believe until the last moment, until we started looking at you too. It's amazing how these small cameras can capture such a large frame. I had to pay private investigators about $3,000 to quickly install all the equipment once we knew the room number." Gordon asked with a pleading tone in his voice, "Alice, can we talk about this before you make some hasty decision?" "Certainly, but I don't think it's a hasty decision to order divorce papers. By the way, you'll need to find a place to stay when you get back. I changed all the locks. Oh, and you'll probably want to get your stuff out of the driveway before it rains. I'll send my lawyer's contact information to your office, although I'm not sure your boss, Harold, will keep you on for long." Did you? Did you tell Harold? Well, I'm not worried. He won't fire me. I am his most productive department head. Your old friend seemed to cool off on your support when I mentioned a possible lawsuit. Oh, Johanna, I asked him to keep you at work on the assumption that you were seduced by your boss. I don't think you would have ever done anything like this if Gordon hadn't started it first. You might need a job if Miguel decides to divorce you." Johanna screamed in despair, "Miguel, Miguel, Miguel," but neither Miguel nor Alice answered. Both were preparing to return to their homes, or perhaps to where their homes once were. Johanna entered the house she shared with Miguel. She was afraid that soon they would stop sharing him. He sat at the kitchen table and waited for her. She said timidly, "Thank you for staying to talk to me. I will listen to you, but you have to understand that after I found out that you lied to me from the first day of work, it will be difficult for me to believe what you say." "I understand. First, I will answer the question, why? As you know, we both wanted to start our married life in our own place. And then suddenly Gordon offered us a way to do this. After a month of living together, I was incredibly happy. I had a home and a wonderful husband. And then, suddenly, I was faced with a choice, a huge, terrible choice. Give our boss sex or risk eviction from our apartment, ruining our credit history, humiliation in front of our families, and other difficulties. I remembered what my father had to go through to support his family. I knew I had to be willing to do the same for my family. No, he did not sleep with his boss, but he endured serious disrespect and humiliation in order to continue working like me to save his family. The only way I could afford to have sex with my boss and live with the guilt was to create two lives, one in the office and one at home. I have had a husband in every life. It took a while, but basically I was able to live each life without thinking about the other. This may be hard for you to believe, but I never thought about Gordon when I came home, and especially when I was in bed with you. If I couldn't separate these two lives, I would go crazy. I know it sounds too simple, but not all simple things come easy. Believe me, it was not easy, but the reward for success was great, and the punishment for failure was terrible. That's why I did what I did. I'm not saying that's an excuse. This is the reason why I willingly cheated on you. The blame lies entirely with me. My plan was to end my relationship with Gordon once we starting a family. The ability to separate our lives would disappear the moment we began the process of conceiving, and I would tell him that I could no longer be his office wife. I offered him these 3 days as a farewell seminar to alleviate his disappointment. It was then that he threatened to expose me. I'm glad I didn't have to choose between continuing or exposing myself thanks to you and Alice. My hope is to continue working without having an office husband anymore and focus on my stay-at-home husband, my only husband from now on, and hopefully the father of my children. Miguel was silent. What questions do you have for me, Miguel? Johanna, are you saying that you were in some kind of altered state of consciousness when you were with Gordon that allowed you to cheat on me? Are you trying to say that you didn't enjoy sex with him? No, I say that I was like an actress who completely gets used to the role of her character. I played the role of Gordon's office wife and never thought that I was anyone else at that moment. What I did made sense because of the role I played. You could say it was method acting. As Gordon's mistress, I made love to him and allowed him to make love to me. I don't know how else to explain it. Johanna, I think I understand what you're saying, but I just can't believe that you could create a world where you could sleep with Gordon and then come home and pretend to be a devoted, loving wife. If you just played a role with us, you deserve an Oscar. You really deceived me. The problem is that your explanation is entirely intellectual. What about emotions? What about love? The emotions were always their strong emotions. With Gordon, it was sex and money. With you, it was love and safety. I love you with all my heart and want to be a part of providing what we need for our family. I was afraid that we would have to start our family life all over again from the very bottom. I thought I would only have to play the role for a couple of years. I assume you plan to hide your infidelity for the rest of your life. Yes, that way you could have what you wanted, and I could have most of what I wanted, except I'd carry the guilt of what I did for the rest of my life. You would never have been hurt. I was ready to bear this guilt as my price for supporting our family. You may have been a successful actress, but you still hurt me. The question is whether what you did will be fatal to our marriage. One more thing that worries me. You didn't say you were sorry. Oh dear, of course, I'm sorry you found out and got hurt. While I'm sorry it hurt you, I don't regret doing it to give our marriage and family a good start. I would do anything for us, even if I had to kill someone else. As it turned out, I only had to divide myself into 2 wives. If you give me a chance, I will do everything I can to prove to you that you can trust me again. I will accept any punishment you give as long as we stay together. You want me to praise you for being willing to give your body to another man to provide for your family. Essentially, you're saying that you were willing to be unfaithful in bed at work in order to be faithful to your husband at home. It reminds me of a line from the Vietnam War. We had to destroy the village to save it. I think the question is, have you ruined your marriage? I'm pretty sure you've ruined your husband. Miguel, what do you want to do? I will do whatever you ask. I don't know if I have any good options. If we get divorced, we'll both have to start over with very little money, and that will delay the possibility of either of us becoming parents by several years. If we don't get divorced, I'll have to live with the idea that every time I see you, I'll imagine you enjoying what you do with Gordon. I don't know if I can bear it. Miguel, no one is saying that you should file for divorce right now or start planning for a child. Let me stay with you and let's see how things work out. I'll sign a prenuptial agreement that leaves you all your valuable assets and nothing to me if I cheat again. I will give you every bit of my earnings and you will decide how to spend them. I will live in the nursery until you want me to return to our bedroom. You mean if I want you to come back to our bedroom? Yes, if. Johanna, I thought you might suggest that I take a mistress for a while to get back at you. If it helps us become a couple again, then yes. I have no right to judge you for this now. I hope that at least you will stop when we have our first child. Children should not grow up with unfaithful parents. That's why I told Gordon we need to stop. Now I only want you, but in a figurative sense, not literally. If I actually had sex with you now, I would be so angry that I might hurt you. As much as I hate what you did, I don't want to see you suffer physically. Do you want me to go away for a while? I'm afraid if you leave, we won't have a chance to stay together. Besides, we can't afford to have one of us stay in a hotel for more than a few days. I think we'd better stay in the same house until one of us decides he can't take it anymore. Just please be dressed when you're around me. I understand and agree. Thank you. This is more than I deserve. I hope you believe that I truly love you and only you. I hope I can believe in it again. To say the first few months were stressful would be an understatement. Johanna cried a lot, mostly when Miguel wasn't looking. She began to dress more modestly at work, hoping that Miguel would like it. Now she had a new boss, a woman who had once been a secretary. The workplace became exclusively a workplace, and Johanna felt relieved. Miguel cried and screamed and sometimes threw things. He rarely had to interact with women at work, since his job as a mechanic did not involve close contact with customers. A couple of times, women hinted that they were ready to exchange payment for repairing their cars for other services, but he politely refused and was glad that he did not set the prices for repairs. He saw how easy it would be to change if he wanted, but he didn't want it. He wanted a wife who never cheated, and he knew he couldn't change that. In the end, it all came down to the old dilemma. Is it better with or without her? Once he realized that it would hurt either way, it became a little easier for him to make a choice. Johanna, I have made a decision about what I want our relationship to be like in the future. Johanna couldn't help but feel nervous knowing that he could end their marriage. She started crying. Johanna, I want you to move into our bedroom again. I think we need to try to be a normal couple again to really see if we can do this. I hope we can, but I'm not sure. If you agree to this, you must understand that I will likely scream, insult, and offend you from time to time. I hope that over time such outbreaks will become much less common. What do you say? Johanna began to sob. Finally, she was able to say, yes. Oh God, yes. Thank you. Thank you. She wanted to hug and kiss him, but stopped. Can I kiss you, Miguel? This will be a good start. Johanna timidly asked, if it's not difficult for you, what made you decide to stay together? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I realized that I was in the same situation as your father and you, learning to live with something you hate for the good of the family. I want what I always wanted, to start a family with you, so that you will be the mother and I will be the father. To do this, I will have to come to terms with your wrongdoing. I think I can do it once, but only once. Understand that if you cheat again, I can do more than just file for divorce. In short, I don't know where this current is going, but I'm going to try to go with it with you. Subscribe to our channel so that your love doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story. because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think click to the next one.